We're about to dive into a prediction about our future, a future so close you can almost touch it. And let me tell you, it completely blurs the line between science fiction and what could be our new reality.
So, I want you to picture this. Just a few years from now, you wake up. You feel totally normal, but inside you, there's an invisible army at work. We're talking millions of tiny little machines, nanobots, coursing through your veins, repairing your cells, and making a beeline for your brain.
I know. It sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But what if it's not? The big question we're tackling here is this the path to us becoming godlike, or is it the blueprint for making ourselves completely obsolete? To even begin to wrap our heads around this, we have to talk about the man behind the vision, Ray Kurzweil. And look, this isn't some sci-fi author with a wild imagination. This guy is a world-famous futurist, an inventor, and he was a top engineer at Google, working on the very machine learning that's driving this whole AI boom we see today.
So why do people listen to him? Well, here's why. 86%. That's the accuracy rate Kurzweil claims he has across 147 of his past predictions. When you have a track record like that, yeah, Silicon Valley tends to pay attention.
And this isn't just some vague claim. I mean, he called the explosive rise of the internet way before it was obvious. He even predicted the exact time frame for when a computer would beat a human chess champion, years before Deep Blue ever checkmated Kasparov. So when he makes new predictions, people take them very, very seriously.
So, okay, here's his roadmap for humanity. He says by 2029, we'll have achieved artificial general intelligence, AGI. But honestly, that's just the warm-up act. Because that achievement unlocks the tech for the 2030s, putting those nanobots inside our bodies. And all of this leads to the main event in 2045, the Singularity. So let's talk about that first phase, the 2030s. What he's proposing is nothing less than completely shattering the natural order of life and death as we've always known it. The key idea here is something he calls longevity escape velocity. Think about it like this. You get to a point where for every single year that you live, science is advancing so fast that it can extend your life by more than a year. All of a sudden, you're not on a countdown clock anymore.
And what's the engine for all this? You guessed it, the nanobots. And they have a 4-part mission. First, they're on constant patrol inside your body. Second, they can diagnose and just obliterate threats like cancer cells before you even feel a symptom. Third, they're actively working to reverse the aging process. And fourth, they manage your metabolism so perfectly, you could literally eat whatever you want and stay in peak physical health.
But curing disease and letting you eat endless pizza, that's just the beginning. The nanobots aren't just there to keep you alive. They're there to get you ready for the ultimate upgrade.
Right, so once your physical body is basically future-proofed, the nanobots get a new primary mission. Travel up to your brain and connect your neocortex, that's the part that does all the high-level thinking, directly to the cloud.
And in Kurzweil's own words, this is not an AI takeover, it's an expansion of who we are. He thinks this human-AI synthesis will make us funnier, more creative, more musical, essentially more godlike. So what does that actually feel like? Well, think about how you use your phone to look something up. Now, just get rid of the phone. You want to learn how to speak French? You just download it. And it's a two-way street. You could back up your memories, your thoughts, your entire consciousness, just like you back up your phone today. And all of this, every step, it's all building towards one single world-shattering moment in time, the year 2045. That's the projected date for the endgame of this entire technological evolution.
This is the Singularity. The way Kurzweil defines it, it's the exact moment when non-biological intelligence becomes the main force on the planet, transforming what we're capable of so profoundly that there is just no going back. At that point, we've become more machine than biology.
So in this new era, you could experience full immersive virtual reality, generated from inside your own nervous system. But what's even crazier is this idea of afterlife technology. Remember those backups of your mind? We could literally upload the consciousness of our loved ones who've passed away into new forms, essentially making death optional. Okay, so as absolutely mind-blowing as all of that sounds, we really have to hit the brakes for a second, because not everyone in the scientific community is buying this utopian dream. In fact, some experts believe this exact path could lead us straight to our own destruction. Okay, so here's the heart of the debate. Kurzweil basically says that the exponential growth of software, like AI, is going to solve all the physical challenges of hardware. But the skeptics, people like neuroscientist David Linden from Johns Hopkins, they fire back and say, hold on, hardware, actually building and programming these tiny autonomous robots to safely navigate the human body, that faces huge physical hurdles that we are nowhere close to solving.
And this table really brings the whole conversation down to earth. What we have today in nanomedicine are basically passive particles that help deliver drugs to a specific target. That is a completely different universe from the active, computing, autonomous repair bots that Kurzweil is talking about. Critics would argue we're still kind of in the Stone Age by comparison. But okay, let's just pretend the tech does arrive on schedule. That opens a whole Pandora's box of absolutely terrifying risks. First, the socioeconomic nightmare. What happens when you create a new immortal, super intelligent species of the ultra-rich? Then you've got the gray goo problem. A weaponized swarm of self-replicating nanobots gets out of control and just consumes everything. And finally, hacking. If we put millions of connected robots in our bodies, we become the ultimate biological attack surface. So after you weigh these miraculous promises against the, potentially apocalyptic risks, it all comes down to a choice. And it's a choice that our generation might actually have to make. And it's really important to know that despite all these criticisms, Kurzweil is not backing down, not one bit. In his 2024 follow-up book, The Singularity is Nearer, he fiercely sticks to his timeline. He argues that this recent AI explosion is exactly the catalyst we needed to accelerate the nanotech breakthroughs to make his vision a reality.
Which brings us to the final question, and this one's for you. Imagine it's the year 2035. A doctor hands you a syringe. It's filled with microscopic robots. They promise to cure every disease, to reverse your aging, and to connect your mind to a vast network of intelligence. It is the ultimate upgrade. So, do you roll up your sleeve or do you walk away?